Welcome to Warblog. Today we're playing the Muzaffarabad scenario, which is follow on from this Thora one. So you can see here they move in and take Thora. That's on the 3rd to the 4th of October, on the 22nd to 26th of October. You can see that Thora is just there, they move a little further. So we're just going to essentially, well, we're just going to play. Now historically, what it did was come down from here, through here, through here, through here, and here. They didn't really come through here. It was more like that. So this is more of a sort of token force. This is fairly static. This could have been threatening there or there, so it could have gone this way. But in actual fact, it went this way. And this is just sort of, blocking forces. So yeah. Now, what I'm going to do first is I just want to check these stacking limits, because we've got stacking limits now. Essentially, stacking limits, you can start overstacked when you deploy, such as we've got here, but you can't stack again. It just sort of makes it a little easier to sort of identify where your forces are, and basically there's so many games that have sort of illegal initial stacks that it makes sense to just sort of say that that's how it is. Obviously you can't move into that again, so it's a bit unfair when you've got a stack like this. Let me just maybe, the stacking rules have changed slightly. You might or might not notice. Essentially, so it's 5 units per hex, or a total of 45 per hex. The stacking stacking in hills is limited to 2 units, and stacking in mountains is limited to 1. Now I'm just going to see where that works. We've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so I adjusted that. I've been tweaking this. This is about the 3rd time I've done the video, and the stacking rules were sort of wrong. But hopefully this will work now. So let me just reload to make sure I've got the latest code. I imagine that it doesn't actually make any difference. But so we're going to move into there. 1 unit's fine. 2 units fine, but not 3. It works. Brilliant. So we can move there. There. I've not got any more movement. I'm just trying to decide whether to move in there. I'm going to move them both there. Just check. Let me just reload. Make sure that, yeah, so it's working now. It's working properly. Just a few. Sometimes logic is a bit hard to do. 1:30 in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to try and take this village. The village of Keran. Seven to 1 and a DR. Okay, that's nice. From there, along the trail is 0.9. So we should be able to get there, which means we should be able to do this. No artillery in range, so it's going to be a bit tougher, but let's see. or 4 to 1, and a DR. Should have maybe left one of these where it was. Okay, I'm not going to bother with these. So now he's lost his advantage because he's not overstacked. So we've gone 1 there and 2 there, so we won't be able to get that 3 stacking bonus. He might be able to move in there next turn, which will delay things. What do we want to do here? I'll move my artillery a little further around this way. Oh, hang on, why don't I just do this? Do that. That's not what I wanted to do, because now I can't get in there because I'm just overstacked. Oh, these stacking limits! It brings another dimension to the game, but I'm not happy with it. But I'm conceded to it because I don't like it when people say, "Oh, this is not realistic." You know, that's one thing that it's abstract. You know, I'm pointing to the screen with my hand there. It's abstract. Well, you know, you can do things that are abstract. You know, we're not trying to be realistic. It's a game, but I do feel that it challenges you to do a little more thinking, and that's one of the things that I don't like with a lot of these other games where there's too much challenge to think. You know, there are too many sort of additional offside rules that are deep in the rule book that can affect things, especially things like command and supply. Although they might be realistic, in an abstract game, especially in something like this, pretty much the supply wasn't an issue because it's just 4 days, and command was pretty much, you know, as it was. I mean, most units had their sort of, you know, their orders. The whole idea that you could make a mistake or somehow not put your leader where he should be and then find that you can't move half your units, or you have to roll to sort of see who's in command, and you have some sort of, you can only move, you know, 4 operational stacks and you've got to decide which ones those are. I mean, they all add that same level of additional requirement to think, but they take away for every one of those takes away the intuitive nature of the game. But I've sort of conceded that. Mainly, the main reason was the Godzilla effect, as I quite like to call it. For example, I could just move this stack around, I could join it with that stack, and I could just go through decimating everything. With this stacking limit, especially in this scenario where it's hills, I'm actually forcing myself to, you know, play almost a very different game, and it's why I'm a bit tentative at the moment with the limits, mainly because I really don't know the full knock-on effects of it. I mean, are there going to be situations where I just can't proceed? I mean, for example, you know, something like this would be an interesting situation because you could only have 1 unit in there. You know, some of the Panjshir, I think it's the Panjshir valleys in the Soviet-Afghan War, you know, it was all sort of through mountains, and that would be interesting to see how you know, you can almost really only get 1-to-1, you know, in there. But they would be heavily defended, but there would only be 1 of them. You can get 2 units there, but you might be able to get a flank if you can get something into there, etc. But it's heavy going, and all of a sudden, you know, 1, 2, 3. You know, you have a game that is focused around just a very small number of hexes or places that are very significant, like this pass. And this pass was on the map, but it wasn't on the map. I mean, you look clearly, and there's quite clearly a sort of a path that goes through here, so I added it, but it wasn't actually on there as a sort of a track or road. But you know, I've added it. You know, there could be mountains here, and might not be. These are sort of on the Google map are snow covered, so I'm guessing they're sort of more like mountains. The whole area is very, very mountainous, extremely hilly. But I do like to sort of use the hills more as, you know, going well into maybe the potential of mountains, and then the mountains very mountainous, and the mountain peaks, things like the Himalayas. You know, if you look at the unit types, we've got this one, which I haven't really used that much, but it's mountain peaks, and it's got little white things on it. We don't have any of those here. The Himalayas are further sort of northeast, and you know, the big mountains, etc. I mean, they're very northeast. They're nowhere near here at all, but there are more mountainous areas in this sort of Kashmir area. I don't know where. Maybe around here there are as well. You know, maybe I should have more mountains. But anyway, it's interesting to see what difference that will all make. Anyway, so I messed up there because I put my artillery in the front line, which I didn't want to do. There. I'll share this with you. I've got a mouse. It wouldn't surprise me if I've got mice. And they are so silent and soft moving, but they just sort of seem to walk around across the floor. You know, and you just can't hear them. And I just saw it out of the corner of my eye, and it's quite unnerving really. I'll have to get a trap or something. I couldn't kill them, but I'll have to get one of those things, or you bait in a box or something. But anyway, I'm not sure really how to do this. We've got a big advantage here because we're already stacked up. So interesting. What I'm going to do here is that. Should be able to push one more of these into there actually. Did you see that? He didn't want me to stack up with that. Let's just reload that. See, you can't do much more there. So got some artillery. We should be able to move in at least one. And they've still got some movement. Look at that, look at these stacking limits, they're really modifying that sort of deployment there. Okay, well let's see what we can do here. This is the important one. Well, I might as well use everything. I'm going to keep one of these back, because if I get a retreat I want to move in there. Yep, DR. Which means that one of these guys we'll be able to push in there. And we should be able to still move against this. It's not going to be brilliant odds, but oh, we eliminated a unit. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the first turn, and we've got this little stack down here. Why is he involved? He shouldn't be able to do that. Maybe it's because he's irregulars, because that's a river. Oh, there's a bridge, look. Okay. I won't include him, because they're going to be very low, and if I get the retreat, I can advance with him. I think. We eliminated one of them. That's 2 eliminations, which is pretty lucky. So it's already looking pretty good. So we'll sort of, let's change the colour here. Let's reload. Red seems to work well. So we've still got the border, but we've advanced there. We've pushed into Muzaffarabad. But we didn't take it. And we've pushed quite a way in there like that. So essentially what we've gained is all of that. As well as that. And that. Which is quite nice, leaving them a sort of pocket there. I wonder if this is going to be a walkover. And pocket there. But I'm not going to do any more because I don't want to. I've got an important appointment with my bed and the land of Nod, which I'm gonna can't miss. It's gonna go to. I'm tired, so I don't want to start thinking too much. I just really wanted to sort of do a video, but also look at the stacking. And I'm just looking at my fantastic pen tool. I just love the pen tool. It's just it's so good. I think that, to be quite honest, that it's 50% of the game. Just being able to draw these little squiggly lines, that's what strategy is all about. And I think if you look at these games, I mean, for example, what I really want to do is do a lot of what you call after action reports, AARs, You know, where you sort of say, well, I get a screenshot of this. This is the first turn, then you get the second turn. You know, annotated accordingly. But if you actually, I won't delete that because I like it. It's not going to last forever. But if I get rid of it, if you just look at it like that, it's sometimes not clear what's going on, and some people can have a bit of a problem actually figuring out what goes where. Interesting to note that this is overstacked because he retreated, but that's fair enough. I'm allowing that. It's just, you know, the stacking limits, as far as I'm concerned, and the way I'm interpreting them in my favour, is that it's not 100%. You know, you could physically get a lot more troops into a bit of terrain, but they wouldn't be necessarily good order. So, you know, in this instance, you know, they're all in there, but it was obviously just routed, so there's a reason for that. But, you know, so there's always ways of explaining things. But the thing is, if you were to just look at this, and it's one of the things that bugs me with a lot of other games, and what I like about this game, obviously I wrote it as my game, so I would, but is that you can sort of see what's happening. I'm a big fan of these like chess games in newspapers where you see the chess board and you can figure it out. And I never do them because I don't really like chess that much. But I quite often sit down and think, well, what can I make of this? But if you look at these other games, you can't even see the strengths of the fact of the units. So here you can almost see where units are. Now you can use your mind's eye to create these sorts of lines, which help. So you can sort of say, well, you know, I can see where we've advanced there. But to some extent, well, with these other games, all you see are units, and quite often zoomed right out. You know, these typical sort of, you know, the Western Front, World War II. You just see this little squidge of things that are units, and all you get is that sort of the impression of a front line, but you never know where the strengths are. You know, now here we can sort of tell we've got 1 manpower there, or we can see we've got 2 manpower in there with some artillery, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. You know, there's really not a lot of units, but we can see we've got some reinforcements. I'm going to put some more in there actually, because I want to make it at least a little competitive, and the Indian player can determine whether they want to move this way or this way. But you can sort of almost, you know, even without running through the stacks, you can almost see, you know, what's what and what's where. You know, because you've got the numbers 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 3, etc. But the lines, you know, that they help, etc. So I'm going to leave it at that because I've got to get off. I hope you enjoyed that. If you know you want to play, you can play it, and remember you can print and play. So if you want to print the game out, you can just print and play, and you can play it on your tabletop. Look at that fantastic map. Just imagine these are all little counters. You'd be able to, you know, you can have lots of fun with you and your cat. As your cat tried to knock them down, and you told your cat not to. This is quite a big game really if I was print and play, but you could make this a big map. You know, you could print this out any size you wanted. I'm not sure what the resolution would work if you made it too big. Or you can play it with someone else. You know, that's what the that thing there is for. That's for putting in IPs. So we've probably lost our thing there now, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So you know, there's all sorts of options. Fantastic game. Imagine you'll enjoy it if you played it. And I will speak to you later. Cheerio.